Star Wars issue 41 heads back to Epiconia, where Luke and the other rebels are all surrounded by the Scourge droids. Lando calls for them to kill them all so they can save Lobot, but Leia knows that he's a lost cause, and even if they do find him, what are they going to do with him? Lando knows that they can save him, as he violently kills his way through the horde of droids, as the rest of the rebels do the same. Leia begins to notice that Lando is quite the marksman, and Lando reveals that he's always been. He just didn't feel the need to advertise such skills. Luke meanwhile girds himself in the Force, concentrating on the power. The droids all suddenly stop, raising their hands into the air as they say the final barrier has been broken and all organics will be theirs. The streets soon swarm with the infection droids, and Lando tells the others that those are the things that are used to control the droids, wanting to take them out just to be safe since he knows they can't hurt them. The droids leap at the heroes though, with Leia wondering if the droids know they can't hurt humans. The droids swarm the area and over Chewie, Leia and Lando, but Luke manages to leap out of the way and onto a nearby rooftop. As he tries to find a way to help his friends, one of the droids infects him along with the other heroes. The Scourge enters Luke as the being proclaims that they will now be the new Force. Suddenly, its primary body is blown apart by Ajax Sigma and his giant sword, telling the being that it won't be any sort of new Force. Luke, removed from the Scourge's infection, awakens, finding his friends are all okay as well. Lando knows that something somewhere else happened and it hit the droids all at once. He believes they got very lucky now, leaving to go and find Lobot. The heroes come across the Scourge's factories filled with hundreds of cyborgs and hybroids, but Lando knows that that's not their problem, soon spotting Lobot writhing on the ground. Lando grabs his friend, telling Luke that he's sick because of his implants, but he has someone on the Falcon that can help him. He hands his friend off to Chewbacca as he tells Leia that they have no time for these other people, but Leia knows they need to stay and help. However, Lando and Chewie can go and they will meet with them later. Back on the Falcon, Lando gets Chewie to set Lobot down in the quarters, hoping since he and Chewie have known each other for a long time, he can trust the Wookiee, and if he doesn't, he can just kill him after he's done the job. Lando opens up one of the ship's compartments to reveal the talkie, shocking Chewie. Lando reactivates the droid, demanding that it help Lobot. The talkie asks what's stopping Lando from killing him after he fixes Lobot, and Lando knows nothing will stop him. He tells the talkie of L3 and how she once told him about how they work, programmed to avoid damage, and talkie has sensors that will tell him when it's happening and it feels like what they call pain. Lando threatens to take the droid's core and wire it into a simulator that will intensify the pain it feels, making every moment of its existence agony. Or he can just help Lobot and maybe he'll just drop him off somewhere. The talkie finds it terrible that he has no leverage or assurance from Lando that will keep his word, but Lando doesn't care. Suddenly, Leia and Luke return, revealing that the town had things in hand, so they came back to check on Lobot. Lando doesn't have time to explain, but Leia points her blaster at Lando, knowing that the talkie is key to the entire Alliance encryption codes, and it's supposed to be locked away safely on the home one, so he better make time for this. Lando tells Talkie to get to work, but the droid has a suggestion, explaining that Lando is likely to kill him after he helps Lobot to protect himself from his treachery against the Alliance. Lando doesn't buy the droid's explanation, but the droid knows that if he valued Lobot's life above harming himself, then Lando would never destroy him, and if the droid could be certain of that, he would heal Lobot right now. Luke tries to defuse the situation and help Lobot since it's the right thing to do, but the talkie's programming doesn't include right and wrong, only self-preservation. But Lando can save Lobot right now by giving his blaster to Princess Leia and confessing. Lobot weakly grabs Lando's arm, and while he can't talk, Lando knows his old friend just wants him to let him go. Lando apologizes to his friend since it's either him or them. He hands over his blaster to Leia and tells her how he sold the droid to Jabba the Hutt to get out of a debt from which he was caught in, trying to see what happened to Han. He reveals that he needed to build up trust from Leia so she would let him take the Falcon and go off on his own. Also, he could take the talkie back from Jabba's palace. Having confessed his sins, Lando demands that the talkie fix Lobot, and the droid gleefully does. The Falcon arrives back at the rebel fleet, and as they dock, Lobot asks why his friend burned it all down for him. Lando tells him that when it came down to it, he had to decide who he really wanted to be, the old Lando or the new one he's just getting to know. He knows that he seems to like the new one better as Leia comes by with some rebel guards, telling Lando that he is under arrest for crimes against the Rebel Alliance, and he shall be tried in accordance with the Corellian Code of Military Justice, with the charge being treason, and the penalty for that being death. Lando stands and offers his wrists to the security officers as they cuff him, knowing that the charge sounds just about right.